Good afternoon, everyone. Very warm welcome to you all. My name is Anuj Sonpal, CEO of Valorem Advisors. We represent the investor relations of Remus Pharmaceuticals Ltd. Firstly, on behalf of the company, let me thank everybody for joining us today. And I'd also like to thank the management participating with us for giving us this opportunity and for hosting them for this Valorem CXO meet. Very quickly, as you all know, the Valorem CXO Meet is the first of its kind virtual analyst meet event series. And our intention with these virtual CXO meets is to take advantage of technology platforms like this by reaching out to a wider audience and to create a better understanding of our client companies' fundamental business, provide insights into their specific industry, financials, and future growth strategies. The format of this analyst meet will be primarily in a Q&A interview format where I will start off by asking the management some broad level questions, and then we'll move on to taking the questions from the participants. Please note that if you have any questions, to use the Q&A button at the bottom of the screen and not to use the hand raise button, as we will not be taking any questions orally. Now, before we begin, let me mention a short cautionary statement. Some of the statements made in today's meeting may be forward-looking in nature. Such forward-looking statements are subject to risks and uncertainties which could cause actual results to differ from those anticipated. Such statements are based on management's beliefs as well as assumptions made by and information currently available to management. Audiences are cautioned not to place any undue reliance on these forward-looking statements in making any investment decisions. Let me now introduce you to the management participating with us in today's meeting. We firstly have with us Mr. Arpit Shah, Managing Director. Mr. Arpit is the co-founder of the company. He holds a bachelor's degree in engineering from Gujarat University and actively handles business development, alliance management, overall strategy, and operations of the company. He specializes in strategic business development and portfolio selection. We also have Ms. Anjali Shah, who's the Chief Financial Officer. Ms. Anjali is a qualified chartered accountant with more than 5 years of experience extensively in the pharmaceutical industry. Previously, she led finance at SP Therapeutics. She has an expertise in finance strategy, compliance, and global pharma operations. So welcome, Arpit and Anjali.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Let's begin. Let's begin with a few questions. Arpit, I'll start off with you.
Sure.
So, we have a very interesting business model and a differentiated business model in the pharma sector. We are the first to market products and niche therapies with an asset-light model. So could you, for the viewers who are new to the company, can you explain this to our audience who are looking at the company for the first time today?
Sure, Anuj. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. It's been my pleasure to be on this call and give you a very brief idea about who we are and what we do. To start with our business model, we are Remus Pharmaceuticals Incorporated in 2015. In fact, next week we are gonna turn 10 years. We started with the vision of having affordable and new niche molecules in the export market. I started from the US, and then I was in the US, and when the idea came up to cater Latin American markets from the US, where Guatemala was our first country where I personally traveled for the very first time in 2015, and that's how the idea came up of exploring different countries in Latin Central America. So to put that into perspective, we have our stepping stone was Latin America. Now, after 10 years, we are exporting to close to 40 plus countries worldwide, not just in Latin America. So the idea came up where there was a lot of gap in terms of pharmaceutical products going in this market, where there were global players, but at the same point of time there was a niche new segment of medicines where we wanted to uplift ourselves and see an opportunity to have new molecules in the market. And that idea came up to us where we started registering our products. So talking about our team, to be very precise, we have a strong regulatory team where every country where we export has a different set of rules and regulations, and that regulatory team suffice all the needs of each and every country and the Ministry of Health. That's how we entered B2B business at that point of time, where we closely used to work with top distributors of each country, where we put in our efforts to go for the institutional market as well as wholesalers and distributors uh, in our category of products. Initially, we started with few therapeutic categories, but if you look at now, we have more than 2,000 products after 10 years, where we have diversified our portfolio not in one or two or three segments. Put together all these SKUs and the products that we have been launching, registering, exporting in this market is close to around 14 therapeutic categories, which also includes critical care products like hormonals, women hormonals, oncology, monoclonal antibodies, which is the next generation molecules, expensive but low volumes but expensive products. How we differentiate ourselves also I wanted to add that we have been also doing biosimilars and biological products. So these are the next generation. It's difficult to register those products, difficult to sell these products when you are competing with the global giants of pharma. But that was a challenging one, where we differentiate ourselves to do something where not other pharma companies of our scale can do it. So we we got into a lot of research from our end in terms of market intelligence, working rigorously on how the market is growing based on the data that we have, see what are the investments that we want to do in developing those products, and how deeply we can penetrate the market with our own strength as well as our partner strength. So put that into perspective, we have a very strong regulatory as well as commercial team to see how we can push the products in this market, where the access of such products are with very limited pharma companies. Put that into perspective from Indian side, so Indian pharma companies. So what standards apart, again, that question that comes, which Anuj wanted me to give you in depth, is that our focus is to have a molecule or a product that we sell or export or distribute in those market is has less competitors in the market, where we get good margins, we can penetrate to directly to the consumers, which we have. In fact, last year we started B2C, where we have seen, we are half the year and we have seen 100% growth on our B2C till in 6 months from last year. So that is where we come from, where we just don't want to sell the products. We want to ensure that there is a consistent growth of these products, and in the market where there's brand awareness, marketing of the products, trademarking our brand names. People know us that these are the niche new molecules where the competitors are probably a couple of them and one of them is us. So that's where we want to create our benchmark, and those kind of products we want to cater this market. Along that side, we are also into a asset light model, where we have strong manufacturing tie-ups with more than 35 manufacturers just in India. And of course, we have tied up with few manufacturers from Europe and Southeast Asia as well, to cater our markets where we are present. So uh, we the proprietary, again, when we sell our products from a different manufacturing plant, which in our terms is called a CMO, where the proprietary of those products which we have developed, the documentations that we have created, the registrations of the products that we have done in these countries, all those proprietaries IPs are owned by us. So that gives us a lot of value in terms of the not the hard assets, but the assets which gives you a lot of um, uh, a vision of having a incremental sales in our portfolio. So even though we've been investing a lot in our partnership with other manufacturers, but every month our average registration of products is close to 70, 75, 80 products in our market. So we're looking at close to around 800 to 1000 molecules registered in different markets. So put that into perspective. If those products take uh, anywhere between a year and a half, we're looking at those commercials in next 1.5, 2 years. Uh, so I'll come more, Anuj, I'll come more into the detail when we have a Q and Q, one-on-one Q and Q on the questions raised by our investors. Uh, so yeah.
So, thank you for that broad overview, Arpit. Let's just, if you can dive a little bit deeper. So, you are evolving from a pure B2B exporter to now building your own branded generics also under the Relius Pharma brand. Can you dwell a little bit more deeper into this as to what is this transition and explain it as to what are we going to do in our B2C business, which is going to be different than the B2B?
Correct. So, but I'll give you a brief about how we started with the B2B segment, where these markets were new when we start from the inception, when we started this company, where the know-how of the markets, where I used to live there for several months and study the markets, know people, know their language, which is a great barrier, the biggest barrier in these markets, and. That's where we started B2B, where we collaborated, we partnered with the biggest distributors in every country, and tried to reach the maximum pharmacy and patients and the hospitals, institutes and government tenders that we participated. And that was our bread and butter, would put it in that way, that for 5 years, 6 years. But then once we got to know how the market reacts, how the market performs, and what is their need, uh, how successfully we can and efficiently we can grow our business in these markets, is when we came up with an idea of going directly in the market, having B2C presence, where B2C would put, as you asked me, how we are growing on the B2C market is, we have been doing our own products registration, where we do our trademarking of our brands, not just the brand name, but also the packaging, the logo, everything put together, so that tomorrow, once we have an established B2C uh, brand, there's no one who can compete us on that front. The B2C model is basically gives us a lot of gross margins when it comes to directly to the pharmacy and the consumers, where where we cut the corners in terms of the pipeline, where our products in B2B had to go to the distributors, which is importer, and then from importers to wholesalers, and then wholesalers to pharmacy. So why we are now being so aggressive on the B2C is because now we have those relations with the pharmacy, the biggest top pharmacies in this countries, where they know that since last 6 7 years our products has been selling uh, over the shelf. And we have been also, there are several brands in each of the pharmacies, where uh, patient buys our brand rather than the innovator brand or someone else brand. So that gave pharmacies a lot of confidence in terms of selling our products to the consumers or the patients, or put it in that way. So with that said, we wanted to be penetrated in the market in terms of our own brands, where people know who is Remus, and our subsidiary's name is Relius. And that's how we are seeing that growth. We are not just so we started last year with 2 countries. This year we have plans with 3 other countries. So that growth will be seen in next 1 year, where our products are going more into B2C market. Of course, B2B is still our major chunk of our business, where it has been growing year on year. And for whatever from whatever segments that we do, we have been competitive, as well as we have been able to grab a lot of institutional government tenders, which gives us a lot of support on our top lines. On the same front, B2C is getting into action in terms of having an exponential growth on our bottom line as well. So the mixed basket of B2B and B2C is currently the situation here, where B2C has been, we are trying our best, and of course our efforts that we are putting in each market is gonna give a lot of good results in terms of our direct to customers or B2C markets that we are looking at.
Great. Thank you, Arpit. Moving on, can we talk a little bit more about our product portfolio, as in what kind of therapeutic? You did mention about it in your opening part, but let's, if we can go deeper into it, what kind of therapeutic segments do we cater to, and what is the competitive landscape that we face in these geographies that we are present in? Like, who are the other competitors? Are there any Indian branded players, etc.?
Okay, I'll answer your the last question first, that in terms of competition, and then I'll go to the therapeutic categories. So we when we started this business, there was this only company from India who can be an apple to apple comparison with our business model, is Caplin Point, where they started their operations. In fact, they also started their operations in Guatemala first, in Latin America. And but it was way back, like 12, 13 years back, when we started this business. So it was 2002 when they started their products in Guatemala, and then they moved to other markets. So our competition is other manufacturers or other pharma companies from India, like Balaxy is there, Esmo is there, but those they don't have that. Our product portfolio is quite different than them. Of course, we sell some common products, but their business strategy is basically to sell the products. Probably they don't believe in branding it and having a consistent business. So if you look at their order books or they look at their products, there I would say that 2 years back they will be selling 5 products, which in the third year I would not see those products at all. And so our business model is more or less like Caplin Point. I'm not going to talk about other ones because we don't have an apple to apple comparison. But so putting that as our benchmark to compare ourselves, we have been focusing on the therapeutic categories where there are for example, there is CNS, which is central nervous system products, where a patient takes those products lifetime. So those are the products that we are focusing on. Oncology, where we have done bioequivalent studies. So oncology is a segment or a therapeutic category where there are a lot of pharma companies in India. They sell those products, but is their product very efficient on the patients? Because we are talking about someone who has cancer, right? So for us, when we sell those oncology products, we have those data available with us that it actually works on the patient suffering from cancer. So that is one of them. The women hormonal healthcare that we are talking about, which is a very niche segment. You would have very less products, but at a volume that you could anticipate a lot of sales on that. That is what we are focusing. Cardio is one where everyone has. It's not just in India. It's a worldwide problem of blood thinner, and put it in that way. That there are several categories of products, and we are way ahead in terms of this therapeutic category, because we know that till 2030 the products that falls under cardio therapeutic category, we already have those products in pipeline, developed, ready to submit, ready to register those products. So as soon as those new molecules where patent is going to be expiring in next 5 years, 4 years down the line, we'll have those products ready, and we will be the first one to be generic in the market, selling those products on our own brand and under B2C. So that is something. And diabetes is anti-diabetic is somewhere where we are also focusing, where we have excellent combinational products, where we have a molecule with 3 combinations which can cater the patients with more and more with more of a segment where if one pill is taken and it takes care of all the three problems that a patient has. So a patient should not have those three medicines a day. So that is the kind of new things that we are looking. And trust me, when we are talking about one single pill taking care of three things, you get a premium price as well. So that is also we have been developed already, hustling in the market to register, and then we're gonna trademark and do the process of selling those products. Again, on the other hand, I'll talk about our dosage forms as well, where we have been focusing on a tablet, which, for example, to be in a very layman's language, if you have to take the same tablet twice a day, what we do is we have done extended release of those products, where if you take a pill in the morning, it stays in your body, in your blood vessels. It extends slowly, so you don't have to take a second one. It stays for next 24 hours in your body. So this kind of small things that the patient would want it in their day to day life, and that is what we are touching it in terms of having such kind of products in the therapeutic categories that we cover it up. We wanted to be pioneer when it comes to patients. The patients would be happy to take a pill rather than three pills, or ready to take one pill an entire day. He is okay with it. Again, these are not new molecules. These are the ones which we have engineered to make sure that we stand out different from the people who are selling the normal tablets or normal capsules. From the dosage perspective, we are very much diversified. So we just not rely on tablets and capsules. We also have injectables, we have lyophilized products, we have liposomal products. Just to give you a very holistic view, what are liposomes or lyophilized products? Those are the next generation injections where their efficacy on the body is quite high than the normal liquid injections that you see. We have a easy application of injection, so you don't have to take it from the vial or the ampule. We have it directly filled in the pre-filled syringe, so even I can take my vitamin injection myself, just injecting it. So those are the kind of ease that we are also focusing on, where it supports our sales, but at the same point of time, our customers or our patients are also happy with the products. They know that okay, there is something that we can do by our own through PFS, and that product is from Remus. So we are,
Very interesting.
yeah, this is something that also I could go on and on with the products that we have in.
I know clearly.
I
I'm
would
sure
I
there'll
would
be a lot of questions for this, but we'll move on to the next one. So Arpitji, just maybe very quickly, we also acquired an entity in 2024 in US, and that marked our entry in that geography of SP Global Holdings. So can you just tell us a little bit about that? What are we planning to do there? What are the operations there, and what's the growth outlook there?
Sure. So I'll answer this question between me and Anjali on both the sides. So our the acquisition that we did for SP Global Holdings was basically to have the distribution partners RLD. So if I talk about SP, we are in top three across the world for RLD suppliers. So from the US, the entity that we supply this RLD products is, our biggest market is India, China, Bangladesh, where
Sorry, can you say what is RLD?
okay, so reference listed drugs, where the big our portfolio or our customer tally in SP Global is top 300 clients of the entire world. So when they want to start, so RLD is basically a reference product, where if I want to develop a generic product of a brand, they have to compare their product with the RLD. So RLD is basically, how would I put it in that way, that it is the main product from where if you want to make a generic, you have to compare that generic with the RLD. So every top MNCs in the world would need an RLD to make that product, to make that generic version of that product. So where it comes from, if you see our clientele on the SP side, we have been having the top MNCs, you name it, and you would have we would have an account in those companies where we do our RLD business. So our strategic decision was to ensure that we acquire this the distribution part of this entity, and we wanted to make sure that we already have a FDA approved warehouse based out of Chicago, where we have stocks, we have a lot of synergies to export those products to other market. And talking that into perspective, the investment that we did to acquire the majority stake in this company, Anjali would give you a little holistic view on what we have done for that.
Yes, so the as Mr. Arpit mentioned, that the primary synergy that we were looking at was the network of the customers, which are catering to the various other markets where SP is also present, and Remus is also entering or penetrating through its other products. So that was one of the major synergy with we invested in 2024. It is a high ROI business, I can say, which is not much focused on the margins that Remus has, but it is more focused on higher volumes and lower margins. And it just gives you the high ROI. If I talk about the investment that we had made back in 2024, so in simple terms, we are already targeting it to cover in the current financial year what we had invested. We will be earning more than that what is allocated from SP. So that was the primary reasoning for the acquisition of the US entity.
And Anuj, I wanted to add more on this is in a very short way, that the kind of clientele is that we have it at SP Holdings. Remus also has products licensed from those. So I'm just giving you one example, that we export a lot of RLDs from our US entity to, for example, Zydus we do. So those partnerships that we have with Zydus, Remus also has products from Zydus. Remus is selling oncology products of Zydus in the markets where Remus is present and Zydus is not. So just like this example, we have 10 different companies with whom Remus has licensed their products, and we have been registering and selling products in the markets of our presence. Of course, there should not be a conflict of interest for them as well, but of course we have pitched in our momentum, our efficiency in this market, and that's how we have generated agreements with them, where it's their product, but we get it manufactured, they get it manufactured for us, and we sell in our market. So it's like give and take relation that we explored, and it's being a successful one till now, where if I want to talk to anyone in terms of, okay, I want this product in Latin America, to any of the MNCs, it's on my phone to call who is handling those things. And that's how we have done, like, give and take the relation, where they take RLD from us, and we see the synergies. If they have some products there which can be catered in the markets where Remus is present, we take those products, license those products from them as well.
Sure. No, very interesting, Arpit and Anjali. Just let me ask one quick financial question, because I'm sure this will probably come up and has always come up, and then we'll take questions from the participants. So Anjali, maybe you can take this. On a standalone basis, our margins are higher of our earlier business, but after the consolidation of the SP Holdings, it has reduced. Can you explain this as to why this is so, and just so that it's a little bit of clarity to our investors?
Yes, so that's a very relevant question. This comes often to us when we compare the financial statements. So to give you an idea, the standalone financials presents the margins which we are earning through our presence in the semi-regulated markets, the products that have been identified, developed, registered, and then sold to the various markets which are there. So that is driving us with a margins of 25%, close to 25% last fiscal. But when we move to the consolidated financials, so it is consolidating three subsidiaries along with Remus. So one of them, as you mentioned, that the major one is the SP Global, which is contributing to our revenue for almost more than 80%. But when we look at the margins, it is not contributing that high. So the key reason for that is that the whole revenue mix and the margin dynamics are completely different as compared to our core business, the whole course business. So that is resulting, as I mentioned earlier, that SP is more on the side of a high ROA business, and its business model is such that it has higher volumes and lower margin in percentage terms, but in absolute terms, when you look at it, so we are already growing in double digit numbers, I think, as compared to the last fiscal. So it is more focused on that direction. And along with that, we also have two other subsidiaries which were also incorporated in the last fiscal year. So they have just started. So their operational expenses have been adding a little bit much, but we are looking at a very those subsidiaries will also start contributing to the margins as well as to the revenue gradually. So we are looking with that. So it will be more stable going forward. The margins will be more stable going forward.
Great. Thank you, Anjali. So let's start taking questions from the participants. Once again, if anybody has a question, please feel free to type these questions in the Q&A button. Please don't use the hand raise button, and I will ask these questions on your behalf to the management. First question I see is from Nishita. She's asking, what is the current revenue contribution from B2C segment? And you mentioned that B2C will go up to 25-30% in FY26. So how do we plan to increase that?
Okay, so hi Nishita, thank you so much for the question. B2C, we started last year with our subsidiary in Bolivia, and now it's gonna be operational. It's already operational in Guatemala and 3 other countries put together. Our numbers look last year, and when we started and when we closed our last financial year, was around 4% of our 4% of our business was from B2C. Where again, coming back to this year, 6 months down the line that we are talking about, we are already at 8%, and which is again not audited numbers, but at the same point of time we have been also having a lot of order books related to B2C. So as I said, we have been registering products left, right, and center in our B2C segment. So those business would eventually be coming in next 6 months, more on the next 6 months. And in the pharma industry, our order books on B2C increases before the Christmas. So we are anticipating those numbers to give growth on that part. To give you a holistic view of how B2C is going to run our show, we'll be more focused, as I said, we'll be more focused on products where there are less generic players in the market, where as soon as we launch there, the patients would have not more than 2 or 3 options to buy that medicine or products. And that has given us a lot of confidence that our B2C, what our projections are in next 6 to 12 months, is going to grow immensely. And as B2B is also growing on that front. So if you're comparing B2C to B2B, we are looking at a good ratio of growth on both the segments. But of course, our aggressiveness on B2C market is more. And of course, because that is giving us a good top line, bottom line on those. And we see that whatever projections are there of our growth for B2C market, we are on track on that front.
So, her follow-up question is that since the margins in B2C are better, do you expect your overall margin improvement? And if you can give any kind of guidance for FY26-27 on the margin front.
Correct. So yes, of course, when you're talking only about our gross margins on the B2C, yes, they are quite better than the B2B model. At the same point of time, when we start our subsidiaries, our investments are also gone on those subsidiaries, where our expenses are higher, but not in terms of against our profit margins. So every entity or every subsidiary that we have started, there is a ballpark figure as well as the timeline where we want to ensure that we achieve our break even. And with that timeline, of course, if our gross margins are more, we anticipate that we are going to reach every subsidiary that we open their break even in less than what we have target in our time frame. So yes, we see that our margins on the B2C will have an impact on our overall P&L.
On the positive front.
The positive, of course, yes.
And any kind of growth guidance on the revenue front for 26, 27?
Come again, sorry.
What's the growth guidance on FY 26, 27 for revenue?
From percentage perspective, I would not comment, but we are on track in terms of our last year's growth, and this year's of growth is we anticipate that our percentage growth will be more than that. And on that front also, we have been our drivers are our institutional business. If you are talking about top line or revenues, is our institutional business, where would put it in that way that I have this is the longest time I have been in the office, and I've been traveling to ensure that our institutional and government relationship with several countries that we sell our products. We have a good feedback, a good order book that we have currently there in. If you're talking about 6 months, we have a good order book. We are there. So we see that those institutional business are also going to bump up our revenue, and probably what our target is for this financial year will surely exceed that.
So, next question from Chetan is that how do you increase your B2C distribution reach?
Chetan, it's a very good question, but at the same point, it's a very detailed question where how do we reach our ground? It is basically from the ground level work that we do, and I personally take interest in everything that goes on the groundwork when it comes to our B2C business. It started with a lot of relationship that we have over these years with our partners, with our pharmacy chains, with the patients, with the hospitals, with the private doctors and the prescribers. That every time when I travel, I'm out for 6-7 weeks, where I ensure that I meet all of those key person in the chains to ensure that our products has reach in the market. At the same point of time, yes, it is always, I'm not the only one, but as I give you a feedback about how we stand out from the other companies that gives products or sells products in this market, is where we have developed those relations, the confidence, the kind of feedback that we have got. We also do pharmacovigilance, where we just not sell the product, so we also have feedbacks from doctors, from our institutional business, from our patients, to see how they are happy with it, how the product is reacting to their body. All put together, that gives us a lot of support from the ground level in terms of, even if we are not in that segment, and if we want to launch a different segment, our hierarchy of distribution or other hierarchy of people that supports us for B2C business are they have that confidence that okay, the product, if it is coming under Remus or Relius, it's not gonna be backfire, it's gonna be a blockbuster one in that segment. So to answer in very brief way, that I take care of everything in terms of when we start our subsidiaries, the entire channel, right from the importation of the product till the patient, is the entire hierarchy that we have covered, and each and every key person is on my contact list to make sure that we have a smooth transition, a good feedback, and a good future for introducing more and more products in B2C.
So, his follow-up question is, how do you identify that your product get picked up against competitors? In what way is the tracking mechanism for that?
Chetan, this product selection is the heart of our business. I'll put it in that. Of course, R&D is also a heart, but pharma is an industry of patience. So if today I realize that okay, this is a molecule which is going to be doing good, my commercials would be after a year and a half. So there is a lot of research that goes in terms of what the market acceptance is. So every market reacts differently for different products. Every market has, even a neighboring country would have a requirement of XYZ product, which the other neighboring country would have a very different ABC product. So every market is being researched by us. When I travel, I'm out almost 5 to 6 months. I'm hard. Uh, 5 to 6 months where we go on the ground level, see how the products, which products are in the market. Second is we do a rigorous IQVIA IMS research on every country that we are present. We also take feedbacks from we have connections in the government where the government also is selling this product since last 10, 15, 20 years, and they want to uplift their product portfolio. So they come and ask us, okay, what is a new generation molecule in this segment. We suggest them, we give them a competitive price, all that. So that is how the markets. Yeah, so it is always both ways, where we do the research of the products, and at the same point of time the feedback that comes from the market as well, because we have our own people in the market. So we also get feedbacks every time. Every week we have at least 15, 20 new molecules that we think, okay, we want to do this, we want to start working on this. So the product selection actually is where we are investing not just time, but not money, but time also as well. We handpick products based on our research from the ground level, from the feedback from the market, IQVIA, which is only the private and the pharmacy, and the institutional market. So all this four perspective gives us an idea about whether we can develop. Then again, once the product list is ready, okay, we want to launch these products, we go back to our R&D and regulatory in terms of matching. Okay, we have this products ready for this markets, and that's how we decide on those. The last part of your question was how do we deal with the competitors, right? So um, that is the reason our genre of products, our segment of products, our selection of molecules are handpicked in a way where if there are competitors more than 5, 6, 10, it's out of our league. It does not go to the next level of product selections from our end. Our product selections are mostly where there is less noise and more space for us to penetrate the market, grab the market, grab the patients and the market pool, patient pool. And at the same point of time, that has given us good results. Again, when I said we have innovative dosage forms where the patient would take one tablet and is okay for the three things that he's covering up. So those are the kind of perks that we have been introducing, where we stand out from other competitors. When we stand out from the combinational products, we have great combinational products where the other competitors would not have. At the same point of time, the combinational products, as I said, are the most trickiest one to make. I mean, if you would want that in a tablet, there are three molecules, and those three molecules has to be effective on a human body with the clinical trials or the bioequivalent studies that we have done. We have proof of things that okay, this is clinically being trialed on humans, and this is what the results are. And even if the competitor has, competitors would not have a bioequivalent or a clinical trials on it. So our product is more potent and more efficient than others. So this kind of marketing things also we put in, where we pitch in our products in a way where the acceptance is much more better than the ones the competitors who is just trying to cut our brand or cut our business in between. So yeah. Anush, yeah.
Sorry, I was on mute. Next question from Nishita is, can you quantify the order book that you have on B2C front? I don't know if the B2C would have an order book, maybe B2B would, but I mean, anything how we can't quantify that, right?
We have separate we for now, as we haven't prepared the quantification of both the segments. I would refrain from saying that because we haven't.
But since B2C is not an order-based business, it is where we are going to our distributors. If you're not getting orders from the thing, so there wouldn't be an order book per se.
Anuj, correct. You partially correct on it, but on the same part, what we do is when we talk about B2C products, B2C products is a spot business, right? So we have to have our
Certain
inventory.
amount of inventory, but that's not an
Exactly.
order book. So I don't think I would want to quantify that from an inventory
Exactly.
perspective.
Correct.
Moving on to her next question is, what is the timeline on when you expect these B2C subsidiaries to break even?
So to give you an idea about Bolivia, that we started a year and a half back, yeah.
Yes.
When we've almost there to for a break even.
Yes,
We already did,
this
right?
year will be break even,
Yeah.
and I think the second subsidiary which we have incorporated last year, Guatemala, we have started the operation. So by end of the year or first quarter of the next year is the timeline which we can expect.
See, Anuj, I want to add more on this. As this countries where we have put in our subsidiaries is not a new playground for us. So there is an existing business already directly being done from Remus or to our partners from B2B perspective. So when we are talking about a subsidiary business, we already have things in the place. It's about how we want to get the product in the B2C or through subsidiary in pipeline to these markets. So the existing relationship, the setup, everything is there. So for us, the time frame for any subsidiary to come to a break even is shorter because it's not a new playground for us. We know what are the things working, what are the products being sold in the market, and I could probably also whatever my existing business B2B is could also be done through Relius, which is our subsidiary as well. So for us, that is not a challenge of getting into break even. We are just road mapping in which route and how efficiently we enter the market and penetrate it.
Okay. Next question from Twinkle Anand is, what is the margin difference between the B2C and B2B businesses?
Yes, so when we talk about B2C, we do expect the margins to go up to 70-80% in few cases or even more. And the gross
This
margin.
is on a gross margin, not
Yes,
EBITDA.
gross margins, yeah.
Gross.
So yeah, and on B2B basis, the past trend that we have seen that it is around like 40 to 50%, 40 to 50%, I can say. So basically, what past trend we have seen is more than 50%, but what we can say right now, it is around 50% for B2B and around close to 80% for B2C.
When you look, I think the investor community looks at it more from an EBITDA perspective. Currently, with majority of our business being B2B, we are making about 30% kind of EBITDA margins. On the B2C front, ballpark, how much would this be instead of 30%?
On EBITDA level.
On EBITDA level. Currently, we are at 30%.
Yeah, but let's talk standalone B2C EBITDA level would be 50.
Standalone, it is currently around 30%. So with the B2C mix,
no, he's just asking for the B2C.
B2C, yeah.
B2C standalone.
Yes. B2C.
I know it's difficult to explain that right now because there's a lot of investments, it's still maturing, etc., breaking even. But on a mature level, can we expect 40 to 50%?
Oh yeah, overall, yes, of course. I thought it was standalone B2C EBITDA that you were asking, but yeah, on
Again, I'm saying B2C standalone business can be 40 to 50%.
Yes.
Okay. This is also still very high compared to many other companies, so it's a very good number. Next question is from Sahil. What is the update on the weight loss and diabetes molecule? When are we planning to commission this, and what is the expected revenue and margins from this business?
Sahil, everyone is talking about the products that you just told me. So yes, peptides are the products, semaglutide, liraglutide, and all those products that we already have our R&D done. We have already been put products under stability and is ready for registration. And in fact, several of the markets we have already start put under registration. The thing is that there are several countries where still the patent is going to be for next 2, 3, 5 years, and there we have. But what we have identified is that our lawyers in these countries where we are present and where we think that the patent does not uh, give us a hurdle. We already have rectified several markets where we can either infringe or we can still launch those products of weight loss and diabetic all together. The good part is we have both, where we have tablets where a patient can take it as oral, and we also have injections and PFS, just like the innovators already developed. So we are looking at the non patented markets to start having business next year in Q1, because already we have rectified those markets, the products are put under registration, and we see that the entire market who is going towards this genre of products, uh, we think we're gonna be the first three generic players in the market, and our revenues and our bottom line as well is gonna improve from these products. But as I said, not every country will have this, because we don't want to get into litigations where still there is a patent from the innovators. But as I said, I don't want to name the countries, but we have already rectified, gone through the process of checking patents on those molecules in different markets, and we have several markets where we think we know that the patent is not going to harm us. And so Q1 is when we anticipate that all our sales would start working on those kind of products that you asked.
Yeah, thank you. Next question. I think I just clicked on the wrong button. And this was, I think, important question. I'll come. Oh, yeah, this is the one. And this question has come before, and I think it's important to clarify this. What are there any related party transactions which we may face related to Cenorus Pharma? Do they do any manufacturing for us? I think it's important to clarify this once and for all.
Sure. As Anuj, you rightly said, this question always arises, and we'll answer it in the best possible way. So we have if you know that in under Cenorus we have our manufacturing arms, where in Remus we are more into low asset companies, where low asset companies where we have not an in-house manufacturing. So that's one thing that I wanted to give you a brief about it. Mostly Cenorus is in regulated markets, where Remus is in emerging and ROW market. We have a different both the companies have different playgrounds to play. Yes, we do manufacture products under Ratnatris, where Ratnatris is a subsidiary of Cenorus, and the products in the total order book last year that we are on 10%. 10% of our purchasing happens from Ratnatris, but at a arm's length pricing. So whatever the price is in the market, that is what we do it. So that is the only transaction that happens when it comes to Remus. So as I said, both the companies have a different regions and the different markets, where regulated market is a different ball game, and for Remus the emerging and non-regulated or rest of the world market is where we cater. So that's the only intercompany transaction, as you said, is from Ratnatris, where Remus get their products made from there.
So, next question is from Yasser. Can you help us understand SP better in terms of growth drivers, current EBITDA margin, cash flows? What is the absolute contribution to our overall top line from SP today?
So to give you a brief about SP, so the total revenue contribution that SP has today on our consolidated revenue for the last fiscal is around 80 to 85%. So as I mentioned, that it has a high volume and low margin. So considering that the margins that SP has is around 6 to 7%, I can say, on the turnover of its standalone basis. But from the cash flow point of view is something it is a key point to address is that considering this is into distribution and it has a similar model where it is an asset light model, there are no other assets or no fixed assets that we have invested into. We are a FDA approved facility, and the overall working capital cycle is very low, which helps to turn around the cash flow in a better way. And this helps us managing the cash flow in the better way, and helping us to turn around the volume, the kind of volume that we have in SP.
Got it. Thank you. Next question is from Shyam. Are we planning to do more sales in regulated markets as a percentage of revenue versus semi-regulated markets, and what impact will this have on our margins and asset terms?
We will, as previously I answered the same, that we have demarcated the regions where Remus would not be having products in the regulated market, and that will continue as Cenerus is already in the regulated market. So yeah.
Any specific region that you want to highlight that is doing well for the business?
For Remus?
Yes.
Okay, so as I said, our stepping stone was in Latin America. So our biggest market in every part of Latin America. So it's Central America, where Guatemala is our biggest market, and the second driver is going to be Dominican Republic, which is in Caribbean. In Latin America, we have Bolivia, and Venezuela, where now we are going very aggressive in the Chilean market. In Africa, we have now Kenya, where we have 15 products coming in. So Kenya is also there. In Tanzania, we have put in 15 products. So every region has a country where it's going to add growth in our top line every year, because as I said, that every month our filing of products, our business is more about registering products, which is our proprietary, and a vision to have our growth trajectory in terms of numbers. So we don't stop at registering products. We don't stop at registering our brands and our marketing authorization. So with that said, we this year are in Southeast Asia as a region. We have Myanmar, who is going to be adding revenues this year, and next year is going to be Kenya. As I said, we are coming up with our products. So these are the ones. Each market has a showstopper country where we try and maximize our growth on those in those countries.
Okay. Unfortunately, we are running out of time, so maybe I'll take one last question. And that question is, when do we plan to come on main board?
I think that is we've been already working on it. Our paid up capital has also we have increased, but is something that is a combined decision where I would not answer it, but we are looking at the possibility of how and when we want to come on main board. So I'll answer this more diplomatically as of now, but
Sure.
yes, for sure.
Right. Thank you again, participants, for all your questions. If there were any unanswered questions, I think there are 2 or 3. Please reach out to us, and we'd be happy to answer them for you. And once again, management, Arpit and Anjali, both, thank you so much for joining us and giving us this opportunity. I think it was a very good education session for us. So thank you so much for this.
Thank you, Anush. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.